Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update.
Hello, everyone. There is an interesting story that is making waves in Dalton and other places right now. Tiffany Henyard, a well-known leader, is currently facing criminal charges for some very bad behavior. The public and the government are highly concerned about Tiffany's actions, which include extravagant spending sprees and dubious financial transactions. We will go into great detail about the claims that she stole millions of dollars from the government for personal use, the startling new evidence that emerged from the inquiry, and the ongoing efforts to bring her accountable.
Agents are asking questions about Henyard's alleged use of taxpayer dollars and resources, including massive spending on out-of-town trips, hundreds of thousands of dollars in police overtime for her personal security detail, using public employees and tax dollars for personal benefit.
I wanted to let everyone know that Tiffany Henyard's position is becoming worse. The Dalton trustees are constantly monitoring her, and the FBI has stepped in to freeze her bank accounts and proceed with the seizure of her belongings. She has been accused of embezzling and misusing taxpayer funds, which has caused great distress in the community. The amount of shopping Henyard participated in was nothing short of frivolous. Instead of managing the money responsibly, she wasted it on opulent security forces, massive billboards, and an unrelenting online shopping spree. On top of that, she had the hubris to make a Tiffany Henyard calendar that included her own birthday. What's even more amazing is that she manages to pay for all of this with her massive income, which beats the state governor's salary by over $300,000, while forcing taxpayers to foot the bill, a decision that made a lot of people scratch their heads. Tiffany enacted legislation saying that if she lost another election, the compensation for the next mayor would drop from $200,000 to just $25,000. However, if she won, the $200,000 would stay the same. Many think that the reason she has escaped punishment for so long is because some of the trustees were involved in her AE and may have shielded her in exchange for their own budget cuts. There is a conspiracy theory that suggests the trustees who are presently investigating her might be the ones that gain nothing from her scams.
Say things about me, I want you to prove it. Because, like I say, fact versus fiction.
Tiffany has been the center of an inquiry by the trustees for some time, during which they have been trying to gather evidence and demand financial information. Tiffany has spent the last few weeks desperately trying to defend herself in front of the town council.
Watching as this village being ran into the ground by this woman is pissing me off.
The fact that you would even make us get up out of our chairs after we already sat down and got comfortable to even go back through a metal detector because you wasn't here on time to say that, oh, they shouldn't have been let in. No, you should have been here to let us in.
This village deserves so much more than what it's getting. From an outsider looking in, y'all are being hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Tiffany, on the other hand, has been impeding their efforts by manipulating the proof and using her power to silence dissenters. There are fewer than 30 police officers in Dalton, and only 3 of them were clearly present during a recent meeting. This may be a sign that there isn't much support for the probe. When Lori Lightfoot, a former mayor of Chicago, was brought in as a special investigator, the situation grew to the point where some people think this was an attempt at intimidation.
Stephen Lightfoot launched this probe in April. For the first time tonight, she's expected to talk about the findings, and this room filling up fast with residents who are here for it. Now, Lightfoot just made her way into the room here at the Dalton Park District.
Lightfoot found a ton of proof during his investigation that implicated Tiffany. Despite this, Tiffany remains free, and it seems that she is being shielded from accountability by strong friends. Lightfoot's investigation also showed that Tiffany's illegal behavior had a major effect on Dalton.
You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw.
When Dalton started her job as the organization's manager in May 2024, her general fund balance was $5.6 million, however. By the time she finished, it had lost $3.65 million, a sizable amount. According to detailed credit card transactions that were tracked back to Tiffany, she was discovered to have spent thousands of dollars on online shopping sprees, which included an amazing $33,000 on Amazon in a single day. That same day, she also made other purchases totaling over $4,700 on Amazon, over $7,000 at Wayfair, and $2,200 at Best Buy. Over the course of the previous year, she also paid nearly $113,000 for overseas vacations. The extent of her luxury is quite worrisome. How can anyone justify such blatant misappropriation of money, especially when the very people she was meant to help are struggling? Nevertheless, that is not the end of it. By June 18, 2024, at least 589 checks totaling more than $6 million had been signed and printed. But the vendors had never received them because Tiffany had used the funds for her own personal travels and shopping. These suppliers had been waiting for their payments for the length of the process. The investigation turned up proof that 2 police officers who were thought to be connected to Tiffany had been paid more for overtime than they had been paid annually. This added to the drama surrounding Tiffany. One of the officers got an additional $14,800 in overtime pay, despite earning $87,200 for the fiscal year 2024. The other officer, who made $73,500 a year, was allowed to earn an additional $1,271, so much as to spend more than $155,000 on a trip to Las Vegas and to fund music videos featuring city personnel. One of the responses from the Dalton community is one of rage. In reaction to a remark made by a former trustee, a sizable part of the community is asking for Tiffany to face harsh punishment and the accountability of those who made it possible for her. I had my suspicions all along. Tiffany must be put under confinement immediately and made to answer for her behavior. Using our money as if it were her own is wrong.
Questioning the finances, because that's been a real big concern of mine as a board member. We've been wondering how the money is being.
According to the current FBI investigation, Tiffany has gotten 2 subpoenas. As part of its efforts to collect the stolen money, the FBI is trying to freeze all of Tiffany's accounts and assets. The first subpoena asks for personal documents, including contracts, checks, yics, and wage and tax records, as well as time and attendance logs, connected to Tiffany's numerous endeavors. Her political action committee, restaurant, property management business, and charitable foundation are among her efforts. The municipality is expected to supply the necessary financial information, such as payroll records, credit card expense reports, and budgets. Based on the suggested second subpoena, despite the evidence that Tiffany has been able to keep her independence because of the safety net she set for herself before making any arrests, a large and heartbreaking quantity of evidence was acquired. The Board of Trustees chose to place a freeze on her credit card usage during the federal inquiry, which has only served to fuel the fire. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is gathering information that cannot be challenged with great care. Tiffany claimed that the freeze was a tactic to stop her, but in truth, it was jeopardizing vital services if it was allowed to continue. Her claims that it would be detrimental to the town's services have been met with skepticism because she has a history of extravagant spending during this time. Tiffany faces limitations on the amount of money the municipality may spend, and she faces the chance of having her personal accounts frozen. Dalton is determined to recover every last bit for Tiffany, even if she does not control the millions of dollars in her accounts.
Well, the FBI took notice, asking for shift records for a number of officers assigned to that detail, including Officer Terry Young, who last May reported working 303 hours over a 2-week period.
What are your thoughts on the situation facing Tiffany Henyard in light of the controversy? Should she face more serious consequences? What steps should Dalton take to rebuild? Because of her unscrupulous behavior, the entire department has been tainted. According to another person, she should not only be sentenced to jail but also be required to refund all of the money that she took from the city and its people. Post your thoughts in the space given for comments below.